Hey, what's up guys, it's Fish here and welcome to Veil of Crows, a new real-time strategy sandbox game going into early access in the next couple of days. I'll make sure to link to it in the description down below. And I've been playing this for I think the past day or so, and I've really been enjoying myself. I think it has some really interesting mechanics which I'll get onto in this video. I'm going to kind of split this video up into 3 parts almost, and if you want to kind of just skip to one part, I'll leave timestamps in the description. I'm going to start off by looking at the sandbox mode because I think it's really interesting and does something a lot of the other games don't do. And then I'll look through the main campaign, which kind of has a bit more of a story driven thing, and then we'll just look at the battles. So if you don't want to skip to the battles and see what they look like, then I'll leave the timestamp in the description. You guys can just do that if you're not interested in everything else. But basically, what is Veil of Crows? It is a real-time strategy sandbox game which kind of takes if you've played Mount & Blade and Total War, you'll kind of almost feel at home. Now I kind of feel like I'm not doing the game justice when I'm kind of comparing them to Mount & Blade and Total War, because you know this is just an indie game. This is a pre-early access beta you're looking at right now. So you know, when I'm comparing it to like, you know, a AAA studio which has hundreds of people working on the games, it's kind of unfair to this game. So please do bear that in mind. Obviously this is an early access game. A load of stuff is going to change as the development gets pushed on. You know, a lot of stuff is going to be polished and cleaned up, and the mechanics are going to be refined. So do just bear that in mind and kind of almost look at the foundations of the game. You know, what are the kind of most unique selling points of this game, and if you like that or not, if you want to go over and check out the game for yourself. So when I do compare it to Mount & Blade, when you're playing the campaign, you'll very much notice that it does take that kind of style from Mount & Blade, where you're running around the campaign map with your army, and you know, everyone else is kind of doing their own things. There's castles, there's villages, you can kind of mix around. You know, the campaign, it very much does resemble that Mount & Blade style of campaign. The battles themselves are kind of almost a mix between Total War and Mount & Blade. You know, it's got the Mount & Blade aspects of you have your individual soldiers. You don't just have groups of soldiers you command. Everyone is kind of an individual man who fights his own and does his own stuff, whereas you don't actually in the game fight as a soldier. You kind of take that top-down Total War view of the battlefield and you kind of command it a bit more strategically, as you can send soldiers around. You know, you can just select one soldier to go do something, or you can select your entire army, which can number up, you know, over thousands of soldiers, and send them, you know, all in as one big blob if you want to, which is something I really like of the game. You know, it's kind of, it takes a different approach to the battle. You know, some people might like that, some people might not like it. But one of the most interesting things about this game is it is a persistent world. If you die in a campaign or you die in the sandbox mode, the world doesn't change. You can have a lasting impact on the game. However, when you restart a new character, the world will be the same as when you just died, you know? So you can have one tyrant just going around slaughtering everyone, and then you finally get killed, and then you can play as a new character, and all the stuff you did in your previous campaign will still be there. Which is, I think, is amazing. You know, the fact that, you know, you are just one soldier, you know, your life doesn't matter. You are eventually going to die, and the world is going to carry on, and the rest of the people who come after you will have to deal with the consequences of the predecessors, which is something I really like the feel of. You know, even if you die, the world will be as you left it when you play again. And you can obviously always reset this and set this back to normal, but again, I really like that feel, how, you know, the world just continues to go on, and I love that persistency of the game itself. So sorry, this has been kind of a long intro, but I feel like there's quite a few things I needed to talk about. So let's jump in. We'll start in a new game, and I want to look at the sandbox mode first, because again, I feel like this is a really interesting way to approach the game. Instead of, you know, Mount & Blade just kind of sticks you in and you're always stuck at the bottom of the chain. You know, you always have to work your way up, whereas this sandbox mode kind of allows you to kind of carve out your own history from the get-go. You obviously have the most basic stuff, you know, of creating your character, male, female. I'm obviously sad there's no Apache helicopter sex, you know, that's what I identify as, so I'm kind of upset they haven't got that. You obviously can create your name, your hair, and your beards and stuff like that, so we'll just accept this, whatever, it doesn't really matter right now. You also then decide what your house is called. This is just called Stan. You obviously decide your coat of arms, choose what, change the colors and stuff like that. You can also just randomize it if you want to as well. We'll go with some nice luminous green, because why not? Then you jump into this. You can decide, you know, what your faction is right up here. You decide what kind of towns you want, where you want to start. then you decide the castle, like these are the towns, so what town do I want to replace when I jump into the game. Obviously these don't really make a lot of sense right now because you don't know where any of these are, but you might kind of prefer a certain area of the map, and you might want to just decide that. You then get to decide what keep you want. So do you want like an insane stronghold castle, or do you want to just start off with like a small town hall? You want to be like a small village somewhere and you want to build up, or do you want to just go balls to the wall and have the strongest keep from the get-go and let everyone descend upon you? And again, this will be persistent as well. So if I want like a castle at Ghost March, I could decide that, and then I could then die and then choose somewhere close to it and play as a make a town hall and try and overtake the castle I created in my previous life with all the upgrades. You could also act as like, so say you might want to make an insane castle stronghold at one of these places. I could then spawn at another place and just give myself a load of soldiers and then try and take over that castle in the campaign and kind of be like, maybe I'm the lost brother of someone, I've come to reclaim my crown. You can really create these interesting stories, which is something which really does just bring me in this game. You obviously also decide how much money you get, if the villages around you are farms or what, you kind of decide what villages you have around you. And you can also reset the world at any time by just a click of a button. If you're like, oh, I ruined the world last time, I just want a fresh start, you can just click this button and it will give you. So I'll just select some men, whatever, it doesn't really matter. We'll just, select a few of these soldiers, some militia, some engineers, why not, some crossbows. And we'll jump into the game. The game will now load and jump you in. Now, one of the things, it's not really a complaint because I understand that this game is in early access, but something which obviously I hope definitely does get fixed in the future is the UI. I feel like the UI is a little bit clunky right now. Oh, this is actually a really cool position. I didn't know this right now. That's actually a really cool position. I like this a lot. Yeah, like something I didn't note, or something, yeah, I noticed as soon as I jumped in, the UI is a bit like in your face, and it's kind of a bit like, oh, whoa, what's going on? I don't really know. Now, there is a pretty good tutorial which you can play, which will teach you everything you really do need to know. Which is good. So this is where you start. And the fog of war is very, very persistent. If you don't have soldiers or if you don't have towns or anything anywhere, you're not going to be able to know what's going on in the world itself. So that's something I really like about this game, is the fog of war is persistent. Unless you have like scouts or something like that. I think it's messing up a little bit now. We'll just zoom in so it doesn't distract us. Like if there could be stuff going on in the world, and if you don't have scouts over there or an army or a village somewhere, you're not going to know until you go over there and find out. So stuff's going on in the world which you just have no idea about. So as I mentioned, it's definitely got that Mount and Blade style campaign. You see my money up here is on this left hand side, and then I also have my upkeep right here. Obviously I'm making like no money right now, so that's not too good. If you go down here, you obviously have your castle and stuff, so you can choose to tax your peasants. You can go ahead and go extreme, and obviously that's going to piss them off quite heavily and probably cause an uprising, but obviously needs must when you need to make money. Also you have your food consumption, which I like. You have to be really kind of careful with making kind of balance between tax and food, kind of to make your people happy, and obviously if you don't have enough food, your people are going to starve. And obviously you have your workforce as well. Trade as well, you can obviously decide what you want to trade and what you want to keep away. I really like this mechanic because it kind of gives you the opportunity to kind of stockpile stuff you want to do, but however you might end up losing money later on. The building mechanic is really cool. I love how you can just choose buildings to kind of pick away, and there's a lot of buildings to actually pick, to upgrade your keep, change walls and stuff. I really like the way that he's kind of created this. Training soldiers, I believe this is. You can decide where you want to train your soldiers right here. Obviously they cost money and peasants and stuff like that. And then you have obviously your character here. This is Ivan, the dude I've created. He's currently here, and obviously you get to see all his stats, his upgrades and stuff like that if you want to obviously level up with him, and you can do that. Obviously you see the stuff he controls, and then obviously you can see he is also oh, I can't be a king because I'm not level 15 yet, but then you can declare yourself a king and stuff like that. So overall my entire villages are just chilling out right now. Let's go ahead and select my army right now. So yeah, let's go ahead and we'll obviously go and stick Ivan in this new army. We'll go ahead and give him, I don't know, this many men. It doesn't really matter too much. Some militia, some crossbows, that's fine. And you also have to be careful about resource management as well. You have to really take into account what resources you take with you on the battlefield, Because these resources are used. When you want to siege someone, you better make sure you bring enough lumber to build your siege equipment. Because if you don't bring enough lumber, your soldiers aren't going to be able to build ladders. And, same with food. If your soldiers run out of food, they're going to start starving. Same with steel and stuff like that. You have to really be careful with your resource management, which is something I really, really like. We actually have some prisoners as well as a sale, but whatever. This army is going to be good enough. So we have now created our army. We can start moving them on the campaign map. Now, the campaign map can feel a bit slow sometimes, but I really like how the the game creator has kind of given you loads of options to kind of speed stuff up. And you can already see, when I kind of compare this to Mount and Blade, you can already see it. I've got my armies roaming around. I think these guys are somewhat related to my faction, maybe just like wandering soldiers. Again, it'd be kind of cool if we had an ability to, when you hover over them, it would tell me what they are. Because at the moment, I don't have a clue who this faction is or what this guy is. So it'd be nice if, if I just... Yeah, it doesn't let me click on him either. So I'd like it when you hover over an army it to actually tell you what the army is, because I don't know if I want to go engage it or something. I don't want to kind of run all the way up to it to find out. Now, obviously, you can go all the way up to 10 speed, which is probably a speed I'd mainly play at, and you can just go out and explore the world. We have a lot of money and a lot of population, which is good. Oh, we got our taxes, thank God. And you can just go and explore the world. And again, if I was to fight someone and die, and then choose to go somewhere else, this faction would still be here right now, which is really cool. Yeah, we're about to be broke, which is funny. But again, I just wanted to kind of show off this sandbox mode. And I have heard that it's persistent as well, like as in, not persistent, but the campaign map is just huge as well. I'm not sure how big it actually is. I've never really come into a proper edge, like around the actual entire fortress. But like, look at this, like look how many cool fortresses and stuff you can have in it. I think this is like a really interesting mechanic. And I believe that there's like, you can just, this is obviously just an island fortress right here. But yeah, obviously you can go on boats and go explore the world. And I'm not sure when the campaign map ends, because some people have told me that the campaign map doesn't end and it just goes. And some people have told me that there is an edge. So I'm not actually 100% sure. Maybe that's something you guys are going to have to find out. The autosave is also a bit obnoxious, but again, it's early access. I'm not expecting, a final AAA polished, game and stuff like that. Overall, it's just a really interesting mechanic, and I really like this game mode. So cool, that is that game mode. Let's go ahead and just quit out, and then we'll jump into the campaign mode, which has a bit more of a story driven kind of start to the actual game itself. And you start off very much in that beginning type scenario like you're used to in Mount and Blade. So whatever, we'll just select whatever. It doesn't really matter for now, because we're not going to continue this on. So yeah, so here you get to kind of decide where you start in the world. Do you start off in the islands, which I will? Do you start off in the Great Plains or the Eastern Reach? So you can kind of really pick where you want to go. As well as that, you get your classes, which kind of all give you a different start. So you can kind of play as a deserter, where all the factions are after to kill you apart from the deserters. So you kind of just lock yourself in to a certain faction. However, you kind of get the best equipment and the best amount of men. You start off at a decent rank and loads of money. Or you can start off like as a horse thief, or you can just go going back and be a bandit and work with them, or a bastard. You don't get much money, but you have a nice sword, and just everyone doesn't like you because you're a bastard and stuff like that. There's a load of the kind of that type of Mount and Blade-esque style campaign which you guys are used to in it, which is really cool. I like the way that they've kind of created this. Starting a new game, the world remains as it left, but you will no longer have control of your previous faction. So as I'm saying, in the previous Sandbox game, I created that castle and that faction I had, and that faction, that house which I created, is going to be roaming around and doing its own thing. So I have a choice to reset it if I want to. But, obviously I'm not going to. I'm just going to go ahead and click begin. So that faction is currently doing its own thing. That character I created, he didn't die because I'm playing as someone else now. But yeah, he's doing his other thing. He's going off on his own quests and doing that. So what do we start off as? Did we start off as a horse merchant? We did. That's great, because having horses just makes life so much easier at zooming around the map. So again, we've spawned at wherever we spawned, and we're just going to have to go off and just look for, work somewhere. We have our quest journal here, and again, my complaints about the UI are just minor stuff. Obviously that's just going to change as the game gets more and more developed. I guess that's kind of the definition of the faction, so you kind of know what this faction is, which is kind of cool. But again, I just love if I could just hover over it and it would actually tell me. So you have all the factions over here in the faction overview, and then we also have the trading towns as well for that. So yeah, you can just kind of jump into the actual town itself, seek an audience with the village elder. We can offer them, you know, tribute. So we can kind of be like, hey guys, we're going to offer you loads of money if you join my faction over the one you're currently in. Now, obviously, that's going to anger the current lord of this this town, but, you know, it's stuff you can do. You can just, like, straight up bribe the city, which is cool. You can also ask for quests, and, you know, there's a ton of quests here, which you can go off and do. You know, defend the village. You know, you will be rewarded for your actions. Sure, I'll go ahead and defend the village, and then I'll get the quest. And something I like about the quest is you can select the quest itself and ask for it to track your quest. And this tracking of the quest is going to go ahead and tell you where the quest is itself. You know, stuff in like Mount and Blade, I feel like you sometimes just get lost in the world and you don't know where you're going. And this is kind of a nice way, if you want to use it, to go ahead and find this quest. Because especially because of a fog of war, there's no way you can look on the map and stuff like that. I don't think there is a map right now. That'd be kind of cool if there was a map at some point in the game, which went ahead and just showed you, how to actually get to places. You know, places you discovered, you just mark down on your map, and you kind of go back there. But again, the fog of war is still there, which is interesting. As well as that, to actually get men, I believe what you have to do is you have to try and trade with them, enter the marketplace, and yeah, then you go ahead and buy some villagers. At the moment, there's 63 people here, only one guard. Yeah, there's no peasants available to hire. So normally, it'd just be like a trade thing. So it'd be like, but they don't even have anything to trade. God, this village is awful. That's a bad example, then. Let's go up to this castle. So at the moment, there's no, like, zooming in on it like Mount and Blade when you go into it. Enter the marketplace. So, yeah. Where is this faction is awful. They have like nothing to trade. What the hell? It's kind of annoying because I want to prove my point, but I can't because there's no factions here whatsoever to look out. Okay, cool. This lumberyard must have some resource for me to look at. So cool. Let's enter the marketplace, purchase resource. No, what the hell? This faction, there we go. So I can get peasants. I can't believe, oh, there we go. It's working now. Obviously, early access. So yeah, you just go ahead and recruit some peasants, go ahead and hire them. Cost me some gold, but you know, now I have some peasants in my army. And I imagine I can now look right here. No, that's trade tower. How do I then, oh yeah, I have to click on my army, right? Right here, and then obviously my army is going to be here. I can kind of see my entire army, the peasants and stuff. I can train these guys as well at villages. It will cost me money to do so. I can see the population, you know, how many prisoners I have, how much loot I have. The army we've already looked at. The actual supplies, I don't actually have any supplies right now, and my heroes as well. I'm not sure how it works with your heroes when you actually buy. When you actually get more than one hero, like a special character. I'm not sure if you can or if you're just one lord, but I imagine you will get multiple lords and you'll have people running around like these factions do, kind of just roaming the land to protect them and stuff like that, which I think is really, really cool. So cool, let's go ahead and jump into a battle now. I feel like you guys have seen the campaign. You know, the campaign, the Veil of Crows campaign is more of like a traditional Mount and Blade style campaign. You start from the bottom and you work your way up. The Sandbox allows you just to kind of create your own destiny in the persistent world, which again is something I just love, the persistentness of the campaign, how you can have a lasting effect on the world even after you die. I think that's really cool. You can really create some really nice stories in the game itself. So let's jump into the custom battles. I'll just show you guys. We can do a town siege, a bandit camp, village battle, test battle, campfire ambush, tutorial battle. There's like quite a few. Sally Forth, where the attackers come out. There's a really nice amount of stuff. Let's just go ahead and do a basic siege. You know, nothing too crazy. We will time of day or afternoon. Weather will be fine. Grassy environment, grassy, rocky, sand, snow. Let's do a snowy environment, why not? And then the maps, again, I don't really know any of the castles or anything like that, so we'll just select whatever to do. You know, imagine like a Game of Thrones mod for this game would be amazing, right? That'd be sick. Like, imagine that. So we'll play as, again, I don't really know the factions either yet, so we'll just do that. And we'll attack. We'll let them defend because I like attacking. So we'll give ourselves, I don't know, like 50 footmen. We'll give ourselves, I don't know, like 25 archers. There's some spearmen to help out. So we don't need crossbows. Some more elite swordsmen will be fine. And that'll probably be it for me. Maybe some berserkers would be kind of cool. We don't need any hero units right now. Hatchmen, axemen, miners, serfs. Let's go ahead and get some of these guys as well. So that's probably a pretty nice army. It's like a couple hundred soldiers. Then we'll give ourselves, I don't know, 2 ladders, a ram. We'll give ourselves a catapult as well. It's only a palisade, so we shouldn't need that many ladders. We'll give ourselves a few more ladders, like 4 ladders. And a few catapults should be enough to smash down some walls. So the defenders, will give them obviously a bunch more archers. We'll give them like 50 archers, some footmen, like 50 footmen, and then just some spearmen. So we'll give them like a ton of soldiers. We'll just give them whatever. It's cool. And now let's jump into the battle. It's obviously going to create the battle as we load in. And I think the way they kind of make the sieges work are pretty interesting. So I'm not sure how locked in these battle systems are, if you're ever going to be able to control a soldier. I can't imagine you are going to be able to control a soldier, but I think the combat system is a nice way to tackle the game, and it's definitely something different which I haven't seen before. Okay guys, we are now in the battle. I did actually forget to give myself some engineers. You need engineers to actually work the siege equipment, and I forgot to do that, meaning I jumped back out to change it, and when I jumped back in, I forgot that I forgot to set myself as the attacker. So we're just going to be defending, but I think that should be fun nonetheless. So this is what the battles do look like. It's a really cool looking castle, and there's several of these I've found where, you know, you have like ones with moats all the way around them. The attackers have to get through the water. Some really cool castle defenses and stuff like that. You can see the balance of power up here. You can see the attackers down here. Obviously, I don't know what their units are right now, where they're placing them, which is kind of cool to see. You have the siege equipment, the catapults and the ladders back there, which units have to use. And then as the defenders, you get to set your defense. So as I mentioned, you can select any soldier you want. You can zoom right in. I can select this one soldier and be like, you, dude, are going to go over here. That's exactly where I want you. I want you to defend the gatehouse. Where is the gate? Yeah, the gate right here. I can be like, I want you as a spearman to defend this gatehouse right here. And this is just a basic castle, by the way, as well. This is just a wooden palisade fortress. This isn't something insane. You know, you can get some really big castles. You know, I can be like, you guys, I want you guys to defend this and do that. But you can also select, you know, multiple. So I can be like, I want all of you guys, or, you know, probably I should select all of these guys because they're probably not going to be needed back here. I'm like, I want you guys to form up here. I can also, if we go to the controls, I believe I can also select, you know, groups of soldiers. So right here, I can select all my range units, all my melee units, all my sword infantry, all my mounted. This one's pretty good, I think, having my engineers, because sometimes there's no real way of really seeing where units are. Like, I don't know what this unit is from looking up here. I have to either zoom right in or kind of just, you know, there's no like UI to tell me or anything like that. So engineers are needed to form up here. So it'd be really good for me to actually send the troops over here. As well as that, maybe I want all my archers as well. So I go like, what? I can also select everything on screen as well. So all my range units I want to be like round here. Yeah, all the range units select go around here. You know, boys, just like form up here will be good. You can also, as the defenders as well, set up cavalry spikes so I can stop their cavalry from getting in. And this all takes away from my resources in the top right-hand side, which I think is a really cool way of actually kind of making this. You know, if the town doesn't have enough wood to make these cavalry spikes, then that's tough. That sucks for them, really. You can place down catapults. You can stick down log traps as well. And I imagine this is going to get more and more intense as the game goes on. You know, more and more stuff which you can deploy. So log traps to hit the attackers. I think the engineers have to actually get on these bad boys if we don't go into the dark abyss, which is the mountain, and to find these guys. Are these my engineers? And these are spearmen. I think these are engineers. Yeah, these are engineers. I have to actually send these engineers to go get these catapults, and the catapults are going to turn forward, obviously. I don't have to send engineers there. I have to send engineers over here. I've got all my archers up here, and you can really just mess around with this. Like, I like the way the campaign is. Like, it's an interesting way of approaching it, for sure. I think it's definitely very different, and I think when it gets more and more developed, it's going to be really interesting the way they do this. So we'll set up some more men there. We'll set up some soldiers like there just to help out. And I think we're ready to defend, right? We have some more men over here, obviously, which we can bring up, you know, just to defend this. Probably should send these guys down here as well. But yeah, like overall, I think it's a really nice way to approach this. So let's just begin the siege, let the enemy attack me. Now, obviously, they've got the huge amount of balance of power. I have noticed that my FPS isn't great in these games. To be fair, I did give them a ton of soldiers. I'm not really sure what the balance is with this game yet. How many men you should be looking to get. But I imagine this will be cleaned up, you know, obviously as the game goes into early access and stuff like that. I, again, love the way you can zoom right in. I think the castle designs are really interesting as well. And it'd be great to see if we get multiplayer one day as well. I have noticed as well sometimes that if the attackers don't think they're going to win, they're just going to retreat from the battlefield and save their men, which I think is a really cool way of approaching it. So again, we'll just select more of these men. Obviously, we want to make sure we protect the gate. I want to see how these catapults shoot as well, because I do know, obviously, we have the catapults up here. If the AI are going to... The AI is going to be sending some men over here. Their ladders are being pushed up here, being carried by soldiers. Again, obviously, they're invisible right now, but you see the men, you know, approaching to it. And I'm sure, you know, when the game gets more and more developed, they will push forward. So I like how they've sent like a small vanguard forward over here of like archers. Yeah, the archers are coming over here to help out. Obviously, it'd be very hard for them to shoot up here, but the archers are coming over here to help. My archers are shooting back now as well. Some of the shots are going through the ground, I guess, and not really finding any targets. Are we hitting them through the ground? Yeah, I don't think we are hitting them through the ground. Yeah, no one's really doing it. So yeah, I know I keep mentioning it whenever I see a bug in a game, but I think it's only fair as our catapult goes flying out there. I think it's only fair for me to kind of, you know, show that, you know, this game is obviously very, very new. Catapult's going to be shooting out at the enemy, trying to hit some of these soldiers. Oh god, I don't want to send these guys out there. I'm pretty sure we can obviously deploy our own, tell these catapults where to shoot on these guys. Maybe not, actually. Can we tell these guys where to shoot? Maybe not. Their own catapults are going to be coming in now, hitting my own soldiers. Probably have to deploy some more men over to that. I have a ton of engineers for like no reason, as more rocks come flying in. Okay, cool. They're actually going to be deploying some soldiers over here. Oh, my walls are starting to break here as well. You look at that part of the walls actually come off. That's really cool to see. My one archer, like, yeah, these archers just aren't shooting anything. The ladders are out the gates now. Is that the castle has been breached as well? Yeah, there's a breach hole right there. So let's go and deploy some men to defend that. No, boys, I want you to defend this hole. Yeah, their catapults are horrendously smashing through here. Boys, up on the wall. They're besieging us. These guys are rushing to go help these guys. Get up here and defend the goddamn walls. The archers are focusing down the enemy lines, though. Hopefully these guys will be focusing down like these guys instead. Obviously I need them to be shooting the enemy soldiers right here. They seem like they've bugged out a little bit here. Come on, boys, you can do it. I think they've got a little bit stuck on the wall. Yeah, they've got stuck, unfortunately. Oh, God, no. I mean, like, obviously, as I mentioned several times here, early access, stuff's going to obviously subject to change. A lot of the attackers seem to have been stuck right now as they make their way forward. But their main army is pushing forward now. Hopefully, my men will get unstuck very, very soon. We obviously have more reinforcements. A lot of these archers as well are pinned down. The gate is being smashed down, though, if we can see that. It'd be a nice way to, yeah, you can see the battering ram smashing down the gate. My spearmen are holding firm as more of the walls are getting breached. The fighting is now erupting on the walls themselves. The engineers with their siege hammers are hitting away at the attackers as they come forward. Yeah, nice. My men have managed to break through now. Let's form up a nice little wall here. The archers are fine. Yeah, so it'd be cool if we could like form formations with these guys, like shield walls and stuff like that. Fighting over here. I'm not sure if I have to, I guess I have to kind of commit myself to shooting up here. The archers are hitting away. And some of the sieges you can see are amazing. So if you guys do want to see another, like, a more intense siege battle, then do let me know. Like, I can kind of create a much more rounded one. I'm hitting my own wall there with my catapult. What the hell are you guys doing? Stop. The rest of their army is pouring in now. Fighting on the wall is going somewhat in my favor. Balance power is obviously not in my favor, though. I think the walls are going to be lost very, very soon. We have some archers up here. Yeah, they are pouring through my gates. Luckily, I am defending here. Do I have any men? I have some siege engineers back here as well, holding the keep itself. Yeah, we're doing a good job here. We're going to probably lose, but we're holding, which is fine. That is the main thing, right? The archers right here are soon to be getting cut down by these guys. The fighting on the actual walls themselves is insane. Super hectic as the blues just overwhelm my forces on the actual gate itself. So, like, I think this combat is interesting, you know. Like, obviously, it's not like Mount and Blade or Total War, but I think it definitely has its purpose. And when you can get definitely very good at it and create some really cool scenarios. Like, I like almost not having this top-down view of really just watching the battle unfold and kind of just doing, having more of a strategic maneuver, you know, like, 'cause I kind of set my battle plan off the beginning, and I can send troops to go do stuff, but, you know, they're not always going to go ahead and get there in time. Getting some friendly kills right there. The blues are ripping through my siege engineers here. So yeah, if you guys do want to see more of this, do let me know. Like, I'm probably not going to start a campaign, but if you guys want to see like a normal siege battle or something like that, would be cool. The FPS, you know, the camera is still a little bit jaunty, but I don't think it's too bad. The walls are being absolutely destroyed by their catapults, I think, right now. Yeah, the entire wall's like gone now. I think that's like glitched out a little bit. So yeah, as I keep mentioning when I see issues like this, you know, this stuff is all going to be fixed. This is a pre-beta early access build, and the fighting is just still continuing. Now, I imagine battles can get much larger than this. Like, I only gave myself a couple hundred soldiers and gave the enemy a couple hundred soldiers. I imagine going forward, we're going to see so many more soldiers where you can have like a shield wall line up here. Oh, I think I've pressed a button, actually. I'm not sure what button. There we go, sorry. That was my mistake. I'm blaming the game. That was me right there. Like, oh, the game's broken. No, that was my bad. Yeah, my mistake. That was me pressing X. So again, oh, cool. So you can really go down. If you want to see stuff, can you actually fight in these buildings? You can even fight in the buildings. That's so cool. That is really, really cool. Yeah, that's nice. So if you want to be like, oh, I want to see what's down here and see the wall, you can. That's cool. I like that. See, I'm even learning stuff right now about the game. So I like how you can fall back and actually defend the buildings. You can defend the keeps and stuff. So that's really important. When you want to defend these, you want to obviously be able to see inside them and see through the walls and the layers as well. Because yeah, you can go up to the second. You can even go up to the second story. Wow, you can have some really. Oh, this is a really cool fighting stuff. This has definitely impressed me. I've never fought like a proper siege before. I've only fought like land battles in my time playing. I really like that. I think that's really interesting. A nice way to do it. So cool. This is Vale of Crows. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to see more, do let me know. I think we can definitely create some interesting stuff in this game as it goes forward in early access. I might even maybe stream it or something. Yeah, make sure to go check out the game. I think it's definitely worth however much it's going to be going up. I can't imagine it's going to be like a full $40 game. You know, it's obviously early access, maybe like £15-20. I'd definitely be willing to pay that for this game. I think with a persistent world and the sandbox is really awesome. Obviously the UI needs work on it, but obviously that's going to happen. You know, it's early access, you know, lots of the stuff is going to go. But look at these guys. You can actually literally have guys just holding the formation. You know, soldiers fighting in the tavern and stuff like that. That is a really cool. Like, I've never seen this before, and I'm really impressed with how it works. So cool. Yeah, as I mentioned, hopefully you guys enjoy this video. This is Vale of Crows. Definitely a very interesting game for sure. Obviously, you get to see the casualties and stuff like that in the battle. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time, and fish out.